Hello and welcome. In today's video, we'll take a look at some games that have shown significant progress on the Citron emulator. I'll showcase titles running on both Android and Windows that previously had major issues or didn't work at all but are now playable thanks to the project's improvements. Not all tests were conducted directly by me, but I'll share progress updates based on community feedback gathered from the Citron Discord server. Additionally, I have some exciting news. If you haven't updated the project this week, I highly recommend doing so now. The latest update introduces a major improvement, especially for those with a GPU featuring 8GB of VRAM. Improvements for 12GB GPUs are also in progress, according to the developers. To configure this new mode, simply go to the graphics settings, access the Advanced tab, and set VRAM usage mode to aggressive. This feature is available for both Windows and Linux versions. Another point I'd like to highlight, which I forgot to mention in previous videos, is how the Android version of Citron is handling device heating and battery consumption. Typically, Nintendo Switch emulators make my device heat up significantly, and in some cases, even when plugged in, the battery would still drain. However, Citron has changed the game. During testing, on a hot day with an ambient temperature of 27 degrees Celsius, I used a cooler, and the device's temperature didn't exceed 35 degrees Celsius. Previously, with emulators like Skyline, it would easily reach 42 degrees Celsius or even 45 degrees Celsius under similar conditions. Before we dive into the tests, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on Citron and other projects. In the last video, I tested this title multiple times without success, but now it works perfectly. For those unaware, to run this game on Android, you need to use a hack and a specific update. I'll leave the link in the card. In terms of performance and stability, I played for over 10 minutes without experiencing any slowdowns or crashes. You can play it with confidence. Although this game was already playable on Ryujinx, it always experienced crashes on Yuzu Forks, whether in the main menu or during gameplay. Citron has fixed this, allowing you to play for hours without interruptions. Additionally, it delivers higher FPS and faster shader compilation compared to Sudachi. Citron also excels in performance on AMD GPUs, which often struggle on Ryujinx. However, this improvement is currently available only on the Windows version. On Android, the game still crashes after the initial loading screen. This game previously suffered from severe issues, such as broken polygons and poor performance. In the latest version, these problems have been resolved, and the game now runs smoothly at over 60 FPS. On Android, the broken polygons were fixed in the most recent update, released just a day ago. However, at least on my device, the performance is still lacking, making it unplayable on mobile despite the notable progress. Super Mario RPG has also received significant improvements. One of the most reported issues by the community was the lack of shadows on Android, which has been fixed, enhancing the project's aesthetics and visual fidelity. This is an excellent title for mobile devices, as it's easy to play with touch controls and doesn't require complex movements. It's worth noting that this fix has only been applied to the Android version, as the game already worked well and didn't have this issue on Windows. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom has also made significant progress. On Android, while the version is not yet 100% finalized, there have been substantial improvements. Some effects, like the purple glow of the rifts, are still missing, but the gameplay is smooth both indoors and in open areas. Additionally, the audio issue when entering the rifts has been resolved, allowing you to play without needing to mute the sound. On Windows, the graphics are better, with no issues related to rift effects. However, crossing through the rifts produces a sharp audio screech, which may force players to temporarily mute the game to continue without discomfort. Shin Megami Tensei V, one of the most acclaimed RPGs, has always suffered from random crashes after battles, frustrating players with lost progress. The good news is that this issue has finally been fixed. While occasional performance drops may still occur, the crashes during battles have been eliminated. I recommend setting the CPU configuration to accurate mode to ensure stability. According to a community member on Discord, they were able to complete over 150 battles without issues. If you haven't tried this title yet, now might be the perfect time to explore it on Android. Now, moving on to two games from the Resident Evil franchise. Resident Evil 5, this game would boot correctly but experienced severe graphical issues after 10 to 15 minutes of gameplay, making it unplayable until an autosave point was reached to restart the emulator. Audio problems were also common. With recent improvements, even the Mercenaries mode, which involves many enemies on screen, is now at an advanced and stable stage. Resident Evil Revelations. This title previously had minor graphical issues and slightly slow gameplay, but the main obstacle was the audio. Currently, this is the best way to play Revelations on Android. However, the game still suffers from a slightly dark image, which can be easily resolved by increasing your screen's brightness or adjusting the in-game settings. If you encounter audio issues in either game, change the audio API to QBEB in the emulator settings. World of Final Fantasy, a game reminiscent of Pokemon but featuring chibi versions of Final Fantasy characters, has also seen significant progress. Although I hadn't tested it previously, community reports indicated it faced various graphical issues in earlier Yuzu forks. After testing, I can confirm it now runs perfectly on both Windows and Android. I always make a point to test Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with every new Citron update, knowing it's one of the most desired games for Android. However, performance has always been a challenge, primarily because the game uses a JIT recompiler instead of NC. This is due to NC compatibility being limited to 64-bit games, while this Wii U port was developed in 32-bit. In the latest Citron version, performance has seen a significant improvement. Previously, there were frequent stutters during gameplay, but now, after compiling a substantial number of shaders, these pauses have almost entirely disappeared. Remember, to run Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you'll need to create a Mii and install the required firmware and keys. Another title worth mentioning briefly is YSX Nordics. While it's now close to being fully playable, I still wouldn't classify it as such. Graphically, the game is flawless, and the gameplay functions perfectly. However, audio is only present in the opening scenes and is completely absent throughout the rest of the game. In this case, it might be best to wait a bit longer for future updates, or opt for the PC port, which is already functional. And that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.